What
What's
up?
up,
What
my good
up?
brother? What
We
up? What up,
live.
man?
We live.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, why it feel like it's been like 2 weeks since we've been live? It's only been 6 days.
Shit, I don't know.
I don't know, man. I think I was ready to get back after last week's conversation with Lauren from Cigar and Sneaks.
Yeah.
And, it was such a great conversation. How things been going, man? You've been in the lab doing some things. I ain't going to drop it out there, but
Yeah,
you've
man. I've
been
been I've
being
been
your
working on
creative
stuff,
self.
trying to get back into, making a little music here and there, trying to see what I can do with it. I tell you what, I'm learning how to damn work Pro Tools. This shit is crazy.
Pro who?
Pro Tools, the recording software.
Man, that's you and Jeff with all of these different apps and software, man. I'm a old you young fellas, man. Y'all be on this. You, Jeff, and Dewey.
Shut up, nigga. We use well, Jeff used Reason. That's something different. I use Pro Tools.
See? See, I
Well,
wouldn't have
I'm
known.
learning how to use Pro Tools. The shit is crazy, man. But
When you ready, I just want to sing a hook, man.
I'm working on something for that. What up, Big Chuck? Uh,
What's up, Big
what up,
Chuck?
Laura on Facebook. Yo, and man, let's get into it. The toast on you.
Sure it is, man. I tell you. Here's to you, my brother. Another good show. Here's to you. I hope you had a great week, a great weekend. And here's to everybody that joins us every week on the lounge. Cheers to y'all.
Cheers. What's going on, Mark? On Instagram. Yo, man.
Yeah, I see him. Big Mark is in the
You got,
building.
you
Big
got anything to
Chuck.
get off your chest today?
Yep. Yep. Roll the tape.
Let's do it.
Get it off your chest.
I got to smoke before I say this one.
Oh shit. Gonna be something.
Because I might get upset again. It is
Oh,
funny
Lord.
because we dancing into the topic that we got with our special guest tonight. But man, you know what I want to get off my chest?
Come on.
I took I had a couple things going on this weekend. Had a all guys trip, family out of town, and ended up having to kind of detour on that. But had that, and then my son went off to college. He
Mm-hmm.
came. Nicholas just graduated. He's going to Grambling. So what I want to get off my chest is unnecessary motherfucking baby mama drama.
Come on with it.
How do you still have baby mama drama with a kid that's almost 19 years old that you've been taking care of for 20 years? How do you have baby drama? How do I have baby mama drama? I don't get it.
I don't know, man.
I went to see my son when he arrived Thursday here, and all day he had been here all day. His mama had him out and about hanging with her friends. So
Mm-hmm.
finally he called me, says I want to chill with my daddy tonight. He's got to go out of town tomorrow, so I want to chill with him. I go to get him, man, and I experienced baby mama drama at its worst. It was like this was her last hurrah before we get him off to college on Sunday. This was her last hurrah. Man, she even got physical with me, dude. And you know what's funny, Ray? Normally, because I am a really type A cat, well, you know this, I be ready to get with it. I just stood there, man, and I just looked at her in almost pity. Like, this is what you're doing just to have your way to control the situation one more time. I'm just sick of unnecessary baby mama drama because I'm a good dad. I ain't no deadbeat dad. You ain't got to beg me for nothing. I ain't patting myself on the back because that's what dads are supposed to do.
You should.
I'm there for my
You should.
kids. That's what you're supposed to do. And man, just it was so unnecessary, man. And to watch him have to watch that. The only thing I could think is not letting him see me put my hands on his mama because I felt like I wanted to knock her out. She hit me. She drew down on me 3 times, hit me 5 times each time, dude. I couldn't move my shoulder all weekend. But all I could do was look at her, bro. Unnecessary baby mama drama. I just, you know what? Here's to my son for going off to college.
Let's do
He
that. I was
down here
just
with
about
me
to say.
now. Here's to Nicholas. He's starting college at Grambling University. His first class is the 19th. He's moved in. He's ready to go. Here's the no more baby mama drama.
Here's to no more baby mama drama.
I
because
tell you what,
it ain't nothing she could do now.
man, I know some deadbeat motherfuckers that don't go through what I go through with her. I know some deadbeats that don't go through that don't pay nothing. If I was one of these dudes like one of these famous football players or something that don't like to pay child support and the kids living on goddamn in the project somewhere and they got a mansion, they be running behind me like I was crazy. They don't have no baby mama drop.
Man,
I go to work every day, got baby mama. I was so disappointed, man. I was literally ashamed of the choice of woman that I had, for my son to see
yeah,
his mama acting a fool. I'm like, who the fuck did I choose to have a baby? So that's it, man. I don't want to run women down. I just had to get it off my chest. That's been bothering me all weekend.
yeah. But you answered your own question. So
Yeah,
you gotta watch who you decide to make them babies.
man. You know what? These are the types of conversations that we need to be having with our kids, man. Women and men. Be careful about who you decide to plan a future with. Don't do nothing until you know that's what you're doing. Until you ready.
Yeah, yeah,
And I thank God that I came out of that without making a mistake. And put my hands on her. Or be allowing myself to be goaded into.
exactly.
This was her last hurrah, boy. If I'd have hit her, she'd have called the police on me out there, man.
Oh,
Out here where I stay at,
if
boy,
you'd have
you can't
if
be
you'd
doing
have
that shit.
if you'd have pushed her, she'd have called all the police. She'd have rolled all at the
Oh, she'll
grass,
call them
slammed
all.
her head into the car just to do it. All kind of shit.
Oh yeah, oh yes. She the type, man. She just you do like this. Oh God, oh God.
Well,
The
shit.
black man killing me. Yeah,
Like
she
that
be,
who snatched the man box out his mailbox and he snatched it back. She's, you're killing me. Shit.
So that's my thing, man. Charlie Booth say, "What's her address? I got you, friend. Look here, you and my wife both. You and my wife both. I
Because
tell you a little
I
funny,
know Felicia wasn't close to
bro. I
she'd
didn't
have
even
knocked the
tell my wife until
eyelashes
I
off
got
her.
home, bro. I didn't even tell her until I got home Thursday night. And what's funny, we went
And
out there
then when
yesterday.
shoot hoops.
No, no, check it out. I brought him home with me, right? We laughing and joking. My wife sitting there talking about where she at right now, where she staying at right now. And then we got out to Grambling yesterday. I took him a TV, right? We
Uh-huh.
took him a TV, and then so we took him and did some shopping. So his mama was still there. He gonna tell me on the low. My mom's gonna be here in 10 minutes. And I was just sitting there thinking, man, it's time for us to go anyway, because if Felicia see her, she didn't have a cute Hermes flip flops on. She had on some Nikes. She had her Nikes, and
She
she
was ready to
just in
go.
case she ran into her, she was ready to get it. So, but that was my get it off my chest moment. Look, I appreciate all my friends out there that care, that say they want to roll up on her. Let me think about it. I'll send y'all an address and a phone number.
Hey,
Y'all can send us
you
some
can't
nasty.
say that.
Y'all
Don't
can
say
send us
that
some.
shit now. Don't
No,
say
check it
it
out.
now,
I can
because
say this.
then you a part
Y'all
of
can
it.
send us some nasty text or something. I don't know.
Okay, that'll work.
Yeah.
Well, let's go on and get our guest in here, man, and then you can introduce our topic.
All right. All right.
What's going on?
What
Hey
is
y'all.
up, Melanie at Maduro Melly? Ray, we got a bona fide star on the lounge tonight.
Yeah, man, we
Y'all
getting up
sure
there.
don't.
We getting up there.
We got a whole bona fide star on the lounge tonight. Look, everybody, if y'all don't know this young lady, she is a force in the cigar culture. Been following her. We both have for a long time, and so it's an honor and a
Wait a
pleasure
minute, wait a
to
minute.
have.
Did you misspell your name?
Did I misspell my
Is it
name?
Maduro or Maduru?
No, it's Maduro. I spelled it wrong.
I got you. I
How
See,
you
got
that's
spell
what
your?
happens when you got nails, honey, and a little.
You be fat fingering them
you.
keys. I know how it is. I do the same thing. I be beating them up. I spell Chevalier wrong every week on it. This is the first week I got it right, I think. But this young lady is somebody that we admire, we follow in the cigar culture. Uh, Always putting out good content, and we are we are lucky and blessed to have her as a guest tonight. So everybody, welcome Melanie. How you say your last name? Libretto, right?
Pantry libretto.
Cantu Libretto. Most of us know her as Maduro Melly. Welcome to the lounge.
Hey
Welcome
y'all,
to the
hey.
lounge.
Just how she did the haiku, she is, hey y'all, hey.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
Hey boo,
Just
hey.
nice, real. Hey, hi. Hey, how y'all doing? Hey.
Hey,
So,
hey,
so
hey.
come on, introduce this topic, man, because it's a good one.
So having a conversation with Melly, messaging the other day, and she brought up a great topic, which really hit me because I just told y'all what happened to me this weekend. But how do we prep our children, as we send them off to college, send them off to school, especially with the current climate that we have,
Mhm.
politically, people's attitudes are shifting. How do we teach our kids? And one of the things she brought about that I thought it was important that we discuss as a topic, a lot of times as people of color, we have to teach our kids how to respond to the police, how to act. Now, with this current climate, we've got to teach our kids how to respond in a myriad of different scenarios, anything from, people that could be racist or people that are just politically charged for no reason that don't know what they are. We have to teach them how to navigate through those waters, even off at school when they're away from us. And when Melanie brought that up today, I thought it was a perfect topic. And so I invited her to come on and kind of tell us what you were feeling and how you came up with the topic and what you want us to know about that.
Well, quite frankly, just with the little prelude to the story that you gave before, the little setup of your experience over the weekend, that also envelopes into it because we prepare our children for tests and studying well and doing well at sports and excelling at all of their extracurricular activities. And when there's a little pigment in your skin, you also have to kind of prepare them for how they respond to other people in the world. But like, we need to prepare them for everything, how they interact with their partners and the people that they have children with, or how they choose people that they have children with, and how you're
That's
going to move forward, and how all of this came to be. As you mentioned in our conversation, you have your son that went away just the other day, and next week my middle child is going off to school. So there is, I don't want to say anxiety. It's kind of bittersweet, right? So your heart's a little broken that you're sending your baby off to school, but then you have that sense of pride in yourself and getting them to that point, and that little bit of pride in your child for getting to that point. And it's a blessing to be accepted into higher learning and moving forward, right? We need a lot more of those in our community.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
But in my world, a big part of it is preparing my children for what they're going to experience when I'm not there to be mama bear and push them out the way to deal with stuff, right? So I have 3 daughters. I only wanted sons, and God looked at me and laughed and
She
gave me
said
three
no.
daughters.
He gave you what you needed, not what you wanted.
Listen, honey.
He gave you what you needed.
So with my girls, I'm I'm not a helicopter mom because I don't hover over them. I kind of let them do their thing. But at the one little glimpse of something going wrong, like, I'll push anybody out the effing way to go and defend for them and, like, handle business. So the conversation goes, what have you done and how do you prepare them for what the world is going to give them? Because you're not going to be there for every interaction. You're not going to be there for
Right.
every conversation. You're not going to be there when things go wrong or things are hard. So, a part of our conversation tonight is going to be some of the steps that we've taken to get our kids to that place, right? Because
Right,
shit,
right.
truth be told, we're not that we're old or nothing, but it's a passing of the baton. Like, it's their time to come of themselves and move
Right.
forward with things. So, what did we do to get them there?
That's right. That's interesting that you say that because it is a proverbial passing of the baton in a sense. You think about this. For me, I didn't go to college, but I went into the Marine Corps, and it's that newfound independence. That opens. You're almost like you're a new kindergartner to life when you go through that stage. Because now you're out of the nest. There's no more protection, and now all of the trust, all of the great judgment, everything that you try to put into them, you know, all of this stuff. You're like rolling the dice and hoping that on this first day of independence, it doesn't all just leave them.
Right.
And that's a scary feeling for me. With Nicholas, it's because this isn't the first one to go off to college, and my wife has two that have gone off, and we have another son that went, and now Nicholas is the youngest boy, and he's going. And with him, he's my super smart guy, like my could have went to MIT but decided to go to Grambling type dude. He wanted the black college experience, and his mom was an alumni of Grambling, and so seeing him to make those choices and still looking at him like he's a baby. I,
Mm.
I was really quiet yesterday because I know that even though me and his mom don't get along, she's put good things in him, and so have I.
Mhm.
We've created, out of the situation we had. I think that we both did the best we could to give him a foundation, and seeing him, there, it was really difficult for me. And no, Ray, I wasn't about to cry. It was really difficult for me to get in
Oh,
the truck and
you
leave him
cried.
there
Oh,
last
you
night.
cried.
I didn't cry. I didn't cry, but I tell you what, I had a moment where I was like this.
You was about to.
I had to walk to the trash can by myself and do a couple deep breaths, and because he not used to, he going into something different. He's a suburban kid. Like, he went to a private school in Maryland for a long time, went to high school for a couple years, kind of in
That's
the
a
hood a little
whole
bit.
nother that
It's
is
a
a
whole
whole
nother
nother
thing.
layer of it to it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's not exposed to the true, and I'm just gonna call it for what it is. He's not exposed. Yeah, yeah, okay, Sooty girl. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay. That's I wasn't about to cry. Hey Ray, I'm like doing like this. I wasn't about to cry.
Put your fingers crossed
She in the
behind your
house,
back.
and I'm looking around the phone. But yeah, I was about to cry. But he's not had that hood experience like me. Like, he doesn't come from that. None of my kids do.
Grambling gonna give it to him.
You know
Grambling gonna
what?
give it to him. I
That's
saw
a
it when I
whole
was
nother
driving down the
thing.
street. Yeah,
That's
that's
a
that.
whole that's a whole nother level of it too. So to give a little background to myself, my upbringing, and my family dynamics now is I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens, New York City girl through and through, and then I'm raising my kids on Long Island. You want to talk
Mm.
about like a different setting? Like, that's a
Mm.
whole different setting. For years, my girls were so also my ex-husband is Italian. So
Uh
I
oh.
was it
He
was
this kind of
me.
Italian. This
I
kind.
we don't talk about those things. So I was
Ah, he is Ray. That would be affirmative.
Yeah.
so I was the only speck of any type of like I was the different looking mom. Let's put it that way. I was the different
Mm.
looking mom when there was the PTA meetings and the class whatevers, right?
There wasn't no Cadillacs and Aquanet going on
Listen,
in there.
there was no bamboo earrings and
Oh man,
nameplates is what it
at least
was.
two pair. There
There was
wasn't
none
two
of
pair of
that.
bamboo. Okay.
So my upbringing is very, very different than what theirs were. But as a parent, right? That's why you work your ass off. You work your ass off so that your kids can have a leg up, so they can have different experiences. At least that's 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 the whole I would say that's the circle of life. Every parent wants their kid to do a little bit better, have a little more exposure and experience than you've had yourself. And I
Right.
pray that my children want even better than they've been exposed to for their kids.
Hmm.
So, having said all that, like, I can cut somebody with my eyes and with my words. And like now putting this little suburban girl in school where she's gonna interact with all types of other people, and I can't just swarm in and say what I need to say if somebody says something. It gives this mama bear's heart a little bit of like palpitations here, honey.
I believe that. I believe that. So how do you deal with it? Like, what is, because you're going up on this, I guess, basically for the first time. So how are you dealing with that?
She's the first one to go away to school.
Hmm.
So in our family, everyone has lived at home and then gone to school fairly locally, or at least, being able to commute. She's
Mhm.
the first one to like go away, stay on campus and have that experience.
Mm.
But also, I with her in particular, my ex-husband didn't want her to, and that
Mm.
caused some friction.
Mm.
Um, he wanted her to stay at home and kind of be under my wing, but for all the reasons that I just said, like I need for her to get a little bit of a tougher skin. Everyone, the world is not going to coddle her.
That's right.
Right.
Like there's going to be hardships, there's going to be things that come along, there's going to be different people that you interact with that you won't get along with when you're in the workplace. And what are you going to do? Go somewhere and cry? And while there are a
Mule
generation of
does.
children that are out there doing that right now, that's not what I want for my child. I want
I
her to
know
be
that's
able
right.
to thrive and push through it and deal with it and face those things. That's for me, that is what true success is. True success is, in my opinion, because it's subjective. For me, success is not only thriving in life, but it's thriving with adversities and the things that come along. And if I keep that little girl up under my wing, that's that's not going to happen for her. So
Yeah,
Right.
you'll
that's a
just
little
be
bit of what we're
delaying the
dealing with,
inevitable. You'll be
right?
delaying the inevitable in that, once you're gone, because I think a lot of times as parents, when we're doing our kids that way and we keep them under that wing, I think some kind of way we forget that we're not going to always be here, and so we have to try to remember that we want them to be equipped
Well,
for
it's not just
for
even
future
just a
dealings.
it's not just even delaying the inevitable. It's crippling them.
Hmm.
It's crippling them. Like
Yeah.
when we
Yeah.
faced hardships, I don't know about y'all, but I know my parents didn't swoop in and deal with all the conversations and do all the things and talk to the professors and talk to my bosses. And no, it was left for me to deal with. So there's some things that life, some experiences in life that you have to experience firsthand.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Ray, so let me ask you something. I know you're not a dad yet. You are going to be a dad one of these days real soon, but I know you've got nephews and things like that. What do you feel yourself? And I didn't want to just give my point of view, but as a man, when you look at this issue, what do you feel is the best course of action for somebody that if even if it's a nephew, somebody you're raising? How do you feel you need to go to equip them to step out independently into the world? What do you think is the most important thing to teach them?
Well, you gotta give them tools, right? You
Hmm.
you have to. They have to when they go out into the world. They have to have a toolbox of, okay, when this happens, this is how. This is kind of similar to something that I've gone through or that my parents have told me about, and um, uh, this is how I'm gonna go about trying to navigate this situation. It's not always, like you say, running and hiding and tucking your tail. It's not always standing up and getting in somebody's face. Sometimes you have to give them every tool, every opportunity that you've gone through. Not every. You can't tell them everything you did, but you have to allow them to experience things, and then once they experience it, then you tell them, okay, this is how you should have navigated, or this might have been a better way to navigate that situation. Um, or when I went through that situation, this is how I navigated, and give them those options in order to navigate certain situations. Because you're not going to know every situation that they're going to come across. You're not going to be able to, uh, you're not going to be able to, I guess, preheat the oven for every situation. So, they have to
Yeah,
be able to take the situation and apply it to that situation. You know, and that's the way I think that you do that.
yeah, man. For me, one of the biggest things for me has been with all of these boys. I still got another 4 years before my daughter goes off to college. But with all these boys, I've also had to do some self analysis in my communications with them. I've had to say, hey, I got to remember that they're not me, and their
Mm-hmm.
situations aren't my situations. And as a dad, one of the
That's the
biggest
toughest
mistakes
part.
that's hard, man, and it's one of my areas of opportunity because I'm so quick to point out a lot of times that they're not hood kids.
Mm.
Dr. Larry White, the guy that's in the comments there. Hey, Larry, he and I grew up in some housing projects in Gary, Indiana. So it's ironic that I'm saying this and I see his comment. But a lot of times when I'm talking to them, I'm coming from the standpoint of the things that I experienced, being a
Mm-hmm.
Marine or growing up in the project. They haven't lived that life at all. They haven't had to eat, government cheese or be on welfare or live in the projects or anything like that, or sleep a couple
Mm-hmm.
nights with the lights off. They haven't experienced that. Life has been completely different for them. They've been able to live with little to no worry. And they've been afforded to see life with bright eyes, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times where I go wrong is that I get mad at them for not preparing themselves the way life prepared me. And I think that's unfair. I think we have to, look at them and judge them and educate them and communicate with them based on the situation that we raised them in. We have to be and then that takes some real self accountability. So for me, I would say, self accountability is the biggest thing that I can offer, from myself to them to show them a better way and to equip them that way. What
I
about you, Mel?
agree.
What do you do?
I agree. I think that um, the thing that has matured me the most and humbled me the most is, as I mentioned earlier, we always want our children to do better than us. But the flip side of that coin is we want to do better than our parents, right? We want to do better than what our parents have done. And I can't think of a time where one of my parents have said to me, I'm sorry, I failed in this area, I did this wrong, I could have handled this better. So with that, that's something that I've tried to bring to my children. And I'm not trying to say I am perfect by any means because it's a journey. It's taken some time to get to the point where like, yeah, maybe mommy didn't handle that best, but this was my intentions behind it. And I'm sorry my delivery fell short, but this is what I want for you. This is what I was
Right,
trying to
right.
convey. This is what I want you to take away from it. This is the experience that I want you to move forward with. And maybe I wasn't equipped with the language or the behavior to execute that right the first time, but let's circle back. Let's circle back to that, and this is the intent behind it. There's
Right.
Uh,
a lot of humbling with being a parent, honey. There's a lot.
man, man.
Well, let me say this. I think it's kind of like if your kids don't play outside in the grass and get dirt on them, and I mean, you know, their immune system gonna be low. Let them
Mhm.
let them, they get hurt. Rub some. You be all right. Rub some dirt on it because if not,
Mhm.
then every time they fall, they're looking for somebody to
Pick him
like the
up.
old thing. When the baby cries, don't look at them
Mhm.
because when you look at them now they
They're gonna
hurt.
cry some more.
They're gonna cry now because
Right.
they're not hurting until you look at them. So if you allow them to deal with situations and then help them afterwards navigate those situations, um, I think that's a great course of action to take.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
We're gonna take a quick break before you get back into that next
Uh-oh.
question.
All right.
Oh, look at that! I ain't been in one of these in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Eric Shaw.
A little bit, and now is maestro, the master of an art. And they're energetic and they're ready to get it, bro.
Yeah.
They ready to get it. And patience. And so I had to come back.
Come back.
That store opened, and it became such a.
Now come on with what you was gonna say.
Shoot, I was looking at that amazing interview you did. I think I almost forgot. I was looking at Arrow Shaw, and I almost forgot my little brother. But the one of the things I was gonna say is I think one of the biggest challenges as parents we face is fear. Above all else, it's just the fear. The fear drives us to, sometimes do drastic things as it relates to, this kind of changing of the guard. Because we know that we don't have control anymore. Do you guys feel, Mel, I'll ask you, do you feel that because me personally, I know I have that. It's not really control, it's just fear of not being able to protect the way I could if they were
Absolutely.
here. Do you feel that do you let me put it this way, do you find yourself constantly, now that you're in this situation with your daughter, do you have feelings like uh insecure about their decision making all the time? Because I find myself being that way at extremes, like I know better, but I find myself struggling with feeling very almost insecure about their decision making process.
150%, especially with with my middle daughter that's going off to school. So my middle daughter is specially abled. My middle daughter, the one that's going off to college now, has autism. And that is a whole different lens in which the world
Yeah.
sees her and she sees the world. And I made the decision, and I'm not, don't nobody come for me. It was our family's decision and my decision to um, not have her because she's high functioning. So I made
Hmm.
the decision to not have her receive any special services or be um, treated any differently than the other children that were going to school. Because as we started our conversation, it's about preparing them for the world. So for us, I made the decision that she was going to walk through elementary and middle school, high school, just like everyone else. Because once she left those grade school, those years where they attach a number to how many years you've been in school, there's not going to be anyone that will put a bumper on how they treat her or deal with her. And I've always looked at parenting as it's my job to protect and keep this child safe until they're on their own. And my job is to make them be able to thrive and succeed in life with whatever additional difficulties they may have or may come along with it. It's my job to make them function to the best of their possible abilities. And I didn't want to do anything that would be different than what it might look like when you're an adult. You know what I'm saying? You go to
I get
in
that.
school, when you're in school, when you are specially abled, um, they give you if you sign up for it, right? So if you sign up for certain things, there are um, extra time to do
Accommodations.
tests and
Yeah.
like right, so those are some of the accommodations that are given. But honey, when you go into your office, your boss is not going to give you an extra hour to get that report done because of anything. You're going to have the same deadlines that everyone else will have.
Right.
So to go back to your original question about my feelings of control and worrying about, you know, them being able to make the decisions and do those things on their own, I can't even tell you how it's multiplied. I can't even let you know how to the umpteenth degree I have those feelings. And quite frankly, I can't get lost in the what if, how about, what when. I just need to be faithful and trust and be confident in her abilities, where she's going, all the talents and the wits that God blessed her with, and just know that at the end of the day, I'm here as a safety net.
Man, that's not a understand response. That's an amen response. All you say to that is amen. So
Yeah.
I imagine the stress. Big Mark, what's up, my brother?
What's happening?
So you kind of jumped in on the end of the topic, man, but we're talking about you know, how we equip our kids to go off to school, you know, and equip them for life as they go through this change and this current climate that we in the US, the political things that are going on. You know, we have those
And we haven't even
conversations where,
touched on that yet.
yeah, we
All
ain't
the
even
Yeah.
things
got
that are
that part
happening in the
yet.
world.
But Mark, you got about what, 13, 14 kids? You know, I know they all in their
You
40s now, but how did you how
go.
did you do it back in the 70s?
What? Really? We're the same age, bro. Cut it up. Um,
He just had a son go to college.
Who
that
Mark.
went through an
did
experience.
he?
That baby mama drama was an experience, sir. I commend you for your patience and tolerance. I commend you.
Bro, I
Hmm.
still, my chest still get tight when I think about it, dude. I
I
told Ray the story today when I was talking to him on the phone. I told him, you know, I got to get that off my chest because talking to Ray, I talk to Ray about every damn thing. You know, anytime something happens, I'll be like, say, man, check this out, bro. But it's another thing to come on the lounge over cigars and get it off my chest. You know, so
yeah,
many different people have so many different perspectives. I'm
you
always
have
interested to hear.
you have to prepare your child for going off to college in the real world, man. Look,
First thing you got to do is buy him some headphones because we know you ain't got none.
who you talking to me?
Yes,
I'm wearing earbuds. What are you talking about, bro? Cut
but
it,
they ain't working.
Ray, Ray, stop shitting on me, bro.
That's because he got an Android, Ray. He got Android
Ah,
products.
he on his
Oh shoot.
iPad.
I'm on my yo, Chevalier. Y'all saw y'all saw already. Really? This what let's
Come
have
on, man.
let's have fun. But nah, on a serious note, preparing your
Emotional
child for the
damage.
real world and being out from under your wing, that's so intense, and it can add Chevalier, you know, it can add gray hairs. Ray, you don't know
Yeah.
you ain't got no
I ain't got as many as y'all.
shut up.
Ain't nobody got as many as me, honey. I'm
I don't
all
know. Chevalier,
I'm damn near all
Chevalier,
gray up here.
Chevalier
I
got
have
the
none.
beat.
I have none.
That beard, the same color as that line on his shirt.
Bro,
Mm-mm-mm.
that is the camera. It don't look this gray when you see me in person.
I don't want to hear that.
It's the hue of the moonlight, the Texas
I don't want
moonlight
to hear
that's
that.
coming in.
It's
It's the
sunny out there. Shut
rays.
up.
It is sunny by you, sir.
No, ma'am. It is what's called dawn right now.
Oh Lord.
It's the dawn of the day right
Shut your ass up.
Anyway, back to the topic.
now. Yes, sir.
It's you got to give them the lessons that you were taught from your elders, you know, and what you've experienced in life. But again, like Melly said earlier, you got to let them understand it ain't our life to live. It's
Mhm.
their life.
That
So
part.
You just gotta be ready to handle whatever's thrown your way. I mean, I remember when I first went off to college, and don't you say nothing, Ray, 'cause I see it in your face already. I went to a school in Jersey that was up in the mountains.
Did you have to wind your car up in the front to get there?
I knew it was coming. Anyway, ignoring Ray, and it was even though it was a mixed campus, it was more. We were the we were the minority, put it that way. And they had no qualms in letting us know that.
Well, back then there was still whites only bathrooms, right?
You're right. Anyway,
Man,
and my first real experience with what would you call racism was there.
Whites only pies.
Shut up. No, I was coming from taking the entrance exam, and I was walking down the highway to the bus station, and it was me and my father. Shut up, Ray. Just shut up. Leave the commentary to the end, please. Thank you. And the highway towards the bus station, and this truck pulls by and yells out, "Get out the road!" The N-word. And I was like, and I was 17 years old. I had never grown from Brooklyn. I didn't experience nobody calling me that in a derogatory fashion. It was.
I mean, where you was walking down the highway, I'd have said the same shit.
Okay, Ray, you didn't have a Confederate flag in your window.
No,
he might have. He
No,
might
I
have. He's
wouldn't
from
do
New
that.
Orleans. You know, they be confused.
No, I wouldn't have done that.
Oh shit.
If I had a Confederate flag in my window, that's because I stole the truck and beat the shit out of whoever was driving it, and I was taking it to the chop shop somewhere. That's the only reason. All right, my bad. I'm shutting up. Go ahead, Mark.
Shut up, Ray.
I'm gonna mute myself.
As a 17-year-old kid, I was freaking out. My father was like, calm. I said, Dad, we ain't never experienced, like, it's a highway. There's nobody out here. Like, we in the sticks. Like, anything could happen to us right now, and wouldn't nobody know where the fuck we at.
Yeah.
And I said, that scared me, and it almost turned me away from going to school. But I was like, my father was like, Mark, they want you to go there. They want you to play ball. Go and do what you do. But even in playing ball, my coaches were extremely
Racist.
selective. Let me use that word. They were very selective. And, you know, it was just to see it firsthand and never experience it. I was like, no, what do I, like, how do I handle that? The Brooklyn part of me wanted me to punch somebody in their mouth. But I was like, one of my coaches who was black was like, Mark, you can't do that. I was like, Coach, chill, man. Everybody's coming at me kind of sideways. And, like, the only way I know to react to that is give them back what they want. They're asking for it, give it to them. He was like, no, you can't. Because if you do that, the first thing's going to happen, you going to jail.
Yep.
Period. And I was like,
unless you got a twisted T.
who?
Unless you got one of them twisted T's.
Nah.
You can go upside their head with the twisted T and don't nothing happen. You remember the video?
Yeah, I remember
that part.
Where I was at, nah. Because I on several occasions I had the cops run down on me because of a college associate saying I did something because they said something slick, and I had to slap them in the mouth. And I was like, "You call the cops, bro? You started this. Y'all tried to jump me, and I caught you one by one and slapped you in your mouth. Now you calling the cops? Okay." And they were like, "Sir, you were wrong." I'm like, they jumped me. How am I wrong? You could have called us to do what? The same thing you're doing now, harassing me. So you gotta. It's hard to prepare kids because in this day and time, it's a whole lot different. Even though
Absolutely.
some are still the same, it's a whole things we got away with back then. You can't do nothing. Everybody got a phone, got a camera phone, and
Right.
as soon as you smack somebody, everybody got it on video.
Yeah.
Whether they smacked you first or not, all they're gonna see is you excuse me as a large black man slapping the face out somebody's mouth.
Hmm.
And it's just hard to prepare for that. Like, but you got to give them the intellect and the knowledge and wisdom to say, stand your ground, but also know how to walk away from certain situations. If you see it, identify it, and keep your distance from
So what
it.
I
And
hear you describing is coping skills.
yeah, thank you for the terminology, you. I appreciate that, sir.
You're welcome, sir. I mean, I think that's important, man. I think that and I see some people that have been jumping in here. Jr. Lilly Publications. Any of you guys that want to join us and give your thoughts? We're talking about how we prepare our kids. Melanie Maduro Melly gave us a very interesting topic tonight. How do we prepare our kids to go off to school to start these new journeys in life in the current climate that we're in, which we haven't even touched on how the current climate plays into that. And I'm sure we'll do that after the vibe. But if any of you guys have any thoughts on that and you want to join us, just put a comment in there. Ray will send you the link and you can join us. We're interested to hear what all the parents have to say. But I think, like you said, man, those coping skills are important, and we have to teach them. It's sometimes they got to learn when to move and when to be still, when to
Right.
Yeah.
speak up and when not to. I think that's important. I think sometimes our emotions as parents tell us don't let nobody treat you this way. But
Hmm.
sometimes you got to be smart enough to take a step back and use your judgment and deal with it another kind of way. And I think that's what your coach was trying to tell you back then.
Yeah.
And in that time for us, that was the 80s.
Right.
People think it was so progressive, but you got to remember, we were barely 20 rights 20 years. We weren't even
Hmm.
20 years past the
Right.
civil
Right.
rights amendment being passed. We were still dealing with a lot of things, and our generation was that generation that we were like the test grounds for all these things. and
Right.
and so when they couldn't skin us one way, they skin us another with things like welfare and when later came in the 80s, mass incarceration and different things like that. All of these things became like systematic ways of controlling people of color. And it ain't just about people of color either, because to be honest, a lot of people that are white that aren't affluent had to deal with a lot of the same things within their community because they didn't have the same money. But it's a little different from us because of the skin color issue,
Right.
of course, and the history. But I think it's important that we constantly have conversations like these. That's why we have them on the lounge. We don't have to just talk about Esteli leaves and the different wrappers of a cigar. We can
Right.
have intelligent conversations over
And wait,
cigars.
no,
I think the advantage that our children have today is they are they have access to a lot more information than we had.
absolutely.
I
Mhm.
feel a lot of the information, a lot of the things that the truths, I'm going to put that in quotations, a lot of the truths that we knew or that we were spoon fed were not exactly the way the world actually was, but that's what they were telling us. That's what they were trying to mold us to be. And our
Right.
kids have a lot more access to now. Like how many years, how many decades were we called minorities? And honey, we're not. we we
Absolutely.
We the
we're
majority.
not we are the majority. Like we're not the minority. So even just that understanding, our children know that a lot more soundly than we did. Now, here's the difference. Having said that, I don't feel our children have the same level of discernment that that we have. So it's about trying to braid those two together where they have the discernment. They can stand 10 toes down on knowing that whatever space they're in that moment, they're supposed to be in that space. They don't
Right.
need to be pushed out. They're there because they're supposed to be in that space. But
Right.
also having the discernment of making wise decisions and wise choices, and using self-control. Like that's something that I feel most children, and I'm going to say children because even though they're college age, if I'm more than twice your age, you're a child to me. I'm sorry. It is what
Oh
it
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're just now exercising those skills of making wise choices. And one thing that I tell my kids all the time, and I know they roll their eyes at me every time I say it, because I rolled my eyes at my mom every time my mom used to say it to me. But she used to say, "Don't be so bold that you're stupid." And
Yeah.
I used to hate when she said that to me. I can't tell you how much I used to hate when she said that to me. But
Right.
it's the same thing. It's she didn't use the term discernment. That wasn't the language that she was equipped with. She would just tell me not to be so bold that I was stupid. I
Hmm.
know it today in this space and time as that was discernment. She was trying to have me exercise that skill.
Yeah. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, you be surprised. Go ahead, Ray.
Well, I think that we have to prepare our children to understand that the world don't give a fuck about you.
At all.
Your
Yeah.
small circle you may be extremely popular in your small circle, but the amount of followers you have on social media,
Mhm.
none of that really matters. The world doesn't give a fuck about you. And when you understand that there are people that love you and people are trying to teach you something and show you something, they're trying to give you the tools in order to function independently, because if you don't have those tools to function independently and you're always dependent on how many followers I have, or well, my little group loves me, and you go out into society and you run across somebody and you talk one way in your friends and you think you can talk to everybody this way. The world don't give a fuck about you or your feelings. And once
At all.
we can
That's right.
have people understand that, I think a lot of these uh a lot of the kids will understand that they'll be able to move different in life when they realize you you might come across somebody you gonna come across somebody who does not care whether you live or die. They don't care whether you can chew or eat
Mhm.
solid food. They don't care. They don't care
Oh,
who your
indeed.
daddy is or who your mama is. They don't care about none of that. They are going to deal with you like you a person on the street, because to them that's what you are. What's going on, Don?
What's up, gentlemen? What's up, ladies?
What's up,
Chilling,
brother?
man.
Good evening. Good evening.
Didn't you
Long.
have hair last time I saw you?
What's
Oh
up,
shit.
brother?
I still do. I just got
He
to
still
cut
got
down
some
low.
on. It's the
Oh,
light.
it's
Yeah, it's still cut
okay.
down low.
He
Yeah,
got that mark light behind him where you can't see.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Well,
sitting out
thanks
here,
for
long
joining
time
though, dog.
listener, first time joiner. Appreciate that, Chevalier.
Yeah,
What's
man.
going on,
I
Ray?
figured this was a great topic for you because you and I had a conversation last Wednesday on the Data Firm the Real show that you do, you and
Yeah,
Marcus, and we
yeah.
talked about kids and how we prepare them.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you, and it's ironic because Mel is a single mom of daughters. You're a single
Mm-hmm.
dad of daughters, and so
Yeah.
I know we're getting close to the vibe. We got about 3 minutes, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. Man,
Mm-hmm.
raising daughters and preparing them to go off to college because you've done all of this. Man,
Man.
what was your biggest challenge preparing your
Uh,
first daughter to go off to college?
keeping them knuckleheads away. That was the biggest challenge because me
That
being
part.
a man, I know what to look for and how they coming at it. You know what I mean? Just from me running around when I was a young knucklehead. So I was cutting things off at the pass before my daughters even expected. Or I'm popping up, and they were like, "What you doing here?" Well, I'm making sure you all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I see quite a few people in the comments. I saw Elise Elin the Leo just sent her daughter off to college in the last week or so. Ray, I invited her to come home,
Yeah.
yeah, and kind of share her story. I think, it's real important that we have these types of conversations because man, this shit's happening every day, and we all got to figure out ways to navigate through this thing, man. Thank you, Mel, for bringing this topic up for us. We got about 2 minutes to the vibe, Ray. What you want to do? You gonna run a
We're gonna
commercial?
take a break. We're gonna take a break and we'll be right back with the vibe.
All right.
All right.
At ChevalierLife.com, our personalized humidors, cigar accessories, and apparel are unique and the perfect gift for yourself or your favorite cigar enthusiast. Send us any high resolution image or logo and we'll design your personalized humidor. Visit ChevalierLife.com for details or go to my Instagram at ChevalierLife and simply click the link in the bio.
Man, look, I tell you what, so we're about a minute ahead, but we're gonna kick the vibe off tonight's track. I wanted to give us something to groove to, take us back a little bit. So I hit y'all with 112. You already know. Relight your cigars, repour your libation, and get ready to continue the conversation. This is the vibe on the lounge with Chevalier Life and Ray True Life.
Mark was already 40 years old when that song came out.
I know 42, I think he said.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yo,
Hey, Mark wanted to hear the spinners. I'm gonna play Cupid for you next week, bro.
Mark wanted to hear. Mark wanted to hear Harold Melvin in the Blue Note.
Oh wow.
Oh
yo,
wow.
y'all being real disrespectful. You know that? Y'all being
Well,
Elise,
real.
see,
It's
hey, we
70.
got a star in the building. Elise,
What up,
the
fam?
dancingest, groovingest woman in the cigar culture. I have sat in rooms with her for hours at a time, and she never stopped dancing. I don't know how she does.
and when
Hey,
she
it's
do,
just, you know.
they play a song that right
And then
hand
I'm
go up,
back
it's
up.
all over.
How she do it, Ray? She put that white dress on.
Yeah, so crazy. How's everybody doing this evening?
Doing
Man, we
well.
chilling to the
Oh
vibe, man.
well.
It's good to have
Doing
y'all.
great.
It's good to have y'all.
Good to be on. I'm sitting in a pizza place, so it might be loud in the background.
Sitting in
Well,
a
I'm cutting
pizza
the
place.
vibe short so we can get back to our topic because this is a really big topic that we have about how do you navigate, how do you prepare your kids for going off to college. And Elise, I saw you dropped the video last week of your daughter pulling out. I noticed something in
That
that
was high
video.
school.
That
That's
was
her senior year. But
that's her
but
Oh,
senior
she went.
year. She
Yeah, she started her
she
senior
ready.
year. Yes,
What I
yes.
what I found interesting about that, so you did a like a before and after. So she was a little girl going to school and she was in the front of this Audi truck. And then in her senior year, she driving off in the same Audi truck. Man, that got me right there. I was like, that's the kind of
Mm.
stuff where you've been prepping for 12 years. I
Look
almost
at
cried
me,
on that. I almost
cause
cried
I
on
ain't
that.
buying no new car, baby. She gonna
Chevalier,
drive that for the time being. But
you cried everything, bro.
He
You real
cried
I
for
do.
sensitive.
everything. A leaf
I
fall off
do.
the tree because the season changing. He drop a tear at the same time.
you
Hey,
so
I ain't gonna
silly.
lie, man. I'm filled with emotion, man. I want everybody to be happy. Like, it's just love, bro. I'm filled with love.
Yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's what it is.
you
That's
feel with
all it is.
shit. That's what it
I
is.
knew that was coming. So at least your daughter went off to her senior year, and for me, that's almost the same as getting ready to go off to college because now she's preparing to embark
Absolutely.
on that. So, what are some of the things that go through your mind as you're preparing her to go off to college? You're a military woman. Big history. I don't even want to go down your list of accomplishments, but as you're a single mom raising your daughter, what are the types of things that you deal with? What crosses your mind as you prepare her, to go into independence?
So I love this topic because I think I'm kind of an unorthodox parent. My ex husband and I divorced when my daughter was like 5. And even through the divorce, it was important for me to be really transparent with her. I mean, I obviously didn't tell her all the workings of it, but a lot of times, for me, I'm one of 12 girls. I'm the youngest. I have a twin sister. We're the youngest of 12 girls. But as I grew up, because just like you talked about, you being sensitive, I'm more of the sensitive, it's more of the sensitive sibling. So a lot of times my family wouldn't tell me this happened or that happened. And it wouldn't be big things, but it'd be like, well, why didn't anybody tell me? So as I got older, and as I had my daughter, I thought about, and especially once me and her father divorced, it was important for me to make sure she understood, one, that both your parents love you. Two, this is not your fault. And three, we can still move forward in life and not have um, regret, angst, or harbor ill emotion towards whatever reason we got a divorce. Like at the end of the day, I won't say I went through all the details with my daughter, but it wasn't an ugly divorce. It wasn't like we were having bad situations go on. But so what I've always thought was important for me was to be honest with my daughter. I will say, she done got cussed out with the worst of them, the best of them. Um, I won't pretend like I'm perfect, and I think somebody gave me some advice about raising my daughter and just children in general. Don't let your kids think you're perfect, because we
Mm.
fuck up too, right? Like we
Mm.
make dumbass decisions, we do stuff, make bad financial decisions, make bad personal decisions, make bad business decisions. But let your kids see that, and it's been important for me to allow my child to see that in me, because for me, I feel like I have an obligation to raise a productive citizen, not a leech on a society, not somebody looking for someone to carry her on to
Absolutely.
whatever her next level is or whatever she's going to be. But she has to make her own mark, and along the way, understand and trust your gut and your intuition. So I told my daughter, I wish when I was young or her age that my mom or my siblings or someone would have said, man, Elise, your intuition, your gut, how you feel about things are pretty spot on. Because as I got older, I had, bad relationships, friendships. People do things to me. I'm just trying to be nice because I'm generally a nice person, very open to people. And a lot of times people don't know how to take that. As I've gotten older, I've seen that can be intimidating to people. It can make people feel uncomfortable. It can make people think you're looking for something. So I package myself in a way where I'm just trying to enjoy myself. And if you find problem with me enjoying myself, that's not my problem. So I've really taught my daughter to be comfortable in her own skin. I ask her all the time, well, how do you feel about this? What do you think? If you do this, this is going to happen. My daughter has started working. So she started working last year at one place where she was making, decent money, but she was, I started to tell her, like, Elaine, I'm not about to be spending $200 every 2 weeks to get your hair done. I'm just not doing that. Like, I don't spend that kind of money on my hair, and you're not about to do that out of my pocket. So I started to teach her the importance of, if you want something, you have to work for it. No one's going to give you anything. Nothing that we have, nothing that we own was handed to me. I worked hard for every single thing that I have. So I taught my daughter to show up, be present. She had a situation at her first job she got, and she's still there, but she also got another job. I got an opportunity to get her another job where she was making like $5 or $6 more an hour. Great, right? But with that, I had to explain to her, this is, where we talk about nepotism and somebody, so they help you out. I said, listen, you got this on the graces of my strength and my word, because I'm a good person and I've laid a foundation for you. So don't take it for granted. Don't think that it can't be taken away because you don't take it seriously. And if it is taken away, realize I won't put my name out there for you again. You're going to have to earn your way back into whatever position you have or wherever you work. So for me, it's been about being transparent with my daughter, showing her that I like to have fun, helping my daughter realize, even when she was young and my ex-husband and I would go, she would stay with me when he moved to another state for the school year and in the summer. Like, I need this break. You need this break for me too, because we ain't go, we butt heads, and this is young. I'm just tired. I'm working, trying to rebuild, and just being so honest with her that, I mean, she could call me right now and be like, "Mom, blah 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 blah." I'm like, look, I don't like. we've talked about this before. We don't need to do this. You know, she understands her mom, and in that, showing her that when people show you who they are, believe them. Uh, excuse me.
Absolutely.
That's a big
Don't
one.
get caught up in
Mm-hmm.
what somebody else's issues are with you. Don't try to live up to someone else's expectations. You have nice things because I've worked hard for you to have nice things. But don't get it twisted. Those nice things can be gone tomorrow or the same day. So
Yeah.
realize that, be humble, be kind, because there's so many people suffering and struggling. But when somebody show you who they are and it don't feel good, leave them right there. Don't You ain't got to give them no energy. With her job, her first job she had, the supervisor was like, everybody at work's having an issue with you, and she came to me and she was visibly upset. My daughter's not a real crybaby, but she was just like, Mom, I feel bad. And I said, well, let's break this down. I said, so first of all, this is a grown adult. You 16. If he's sending you all this stuff and you're asking for like specifics and he can't provide you with any, that just shows you the kind of leader he is. So don't take it personal. Just say, this is what has happened. This is what I think. This is my perspective. I would love to sit down and talk to you about it. Because when you meet people in those spaces where they should be the bigger person, because clearly, like the young lady said, you 2 or 3 times my baby age, and you out here acting like this, texting her
Mm-hmm.
about what other people at work saying, other kids. So she navigated. She still works there. She has 2 jobs. She balances out whatever when she want to work at the lesser paying job. But it's been so important for me to show her that you make your path. So the
Right.
last thing I'll say is my daughter has no idea what she wants to do. 2 years ago, I was like on her, like, no, you gotta know, blah blah blah, because my generation, I'll be 43 on Saturday, and our generation grew up with you graduate high school, you go to college, you go to the military, you make a way for yourself, whatever. My decision to go to the United States Military Academy was completely based off my teacher telling me, hey, you can go to school for free. And I'm like, sounds like a plan. I hadn't done any research on it, but I made great grades. I was a great student. My daughter is like in that same path. She don't want to go to West Point. She said, the government owns you once you join the military. But I was like, baby, that VA though. But
Hey,
I
hey,
told
you
my,
better say it
you
twice.
hear me? For the people in the chat.
You better say it twice. I love the VA.
Okay. So she said, she was just, so my daughter doesn't know what she wants to do. And I had to take a step back and realize, Mel, you mentioned it earlier. Kids have access to so much stuff. Man, you can be making 6, 7 figures and have a high school, you can have a GED, okay? If you
Mm-hmm.
have the desire, the passion, and the work ethic, you can do and be whatever you want. So what I told my daughter is, one, I'm not kicking you out the house when you turn 18, because we like to do that.
Yeah.
um, you have a
Yeah,
space here wherever I live. I'm always gonna have 2 bedrooms. One for me, one for you. Whatever your
my wife
decision
just
is,
said that. My
yeah,
wife
you
just
got
said
to.
that yesterday.
So
We
they don't
just
feel the
talked about that.
pressure. And my
Mm-hmm.
baby's a
Hmm.
young senior. She's 16 still. She'll turn 17 in September. But that little month in a couple days really did make a difference with how she interacted in school and things with teachers. Like I stayed involved. I'm going to school. I'm acting a fool. I ain't gonna say acting a fool, but they know. Elena, mama, come up here. Y'all better have your ducks in a row. So anyway, I know I'm going on a tangent, but for real, being transparent with your kids and being yourself, because my daughter knows her mama. Like I feel so good knowing ain't nothing I can do. Nothing. She's seen me irate. She has seen me extremely happy. She's seen me extremely sad. She's seen me broken. My child knows me, and that helps her to realize that mama ain't perfect. Adults aren't perfect, so she can operate when she talks to adults. I said, you're gonna be respectful. You're gonna treat them as you want to be treated. But my daughter knows how to move in a room, and she can do exactly what she needs to do and not get caught up in some foolishness. Because I always remind her, like, don't forget this, baby, because it's a little different for you. So
That's
be
real
smart.
talk.
Be
That's
smart.
Yeah.
real talk.
But yeah, so
That's
that's all I got.
and that says it right there though. That you said it all in one long rant, like you said. It's important, and Mel brought that up. We got to establish true communication from the start, to get out to prepare our kids as we go on, and I think one of the things them knowing that they have that safety net, that you're going to back them up, but you teach them not to rely on that, but they know it's there if they make a mistake.
Yeah.
For me, that means that they can jump fearlessly. jump into life
Mhm.
fearlessly, man. And let's keep it real in our culture. You mentioned something a second ago, and I know Ray has talked about this a lot in the past about people in our world. They 18 years old, they gotta go.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes it's
Yeah,
hard
I think
for some
that's
of
terrible.
us. That's terrible. But I think also just listening to Elise that okay, yeah, you got a space, but I'm preparing you to go where you don't have to come
Yeah.
back. If you gotta come back because things just don't work your way, then that's fine. But don't rely on the fact that you can come back. Don't just
Mhm.
walk away from things and take things for granted. And what I like is that she's teaching her early. You don't take for granted that I can put you in a certain position. Whatever opportunities are afforded to you, and I think we have to do this with our kids. Whatever opportunities are afforded to you, you make the best of it so you don't have to come back. I think that's important. And I think it makes me want to ask you guys a question. So this topic we're talking about right now, most of us here are parents. I don't think you got to be a parent to ask this question or answer it. Is it harder to prepare boys than girls or vice versa? Which one do you guys think are harder to prepare?
I don't
I
know.
think it's harder
I
for
think
I'll
there's
young
let
ladies.
Mel
different
go first.
challenges.
What'd you say, Mel?
I think there's I don't think it's a matter of which is harder or the other. I think they're completely different challenges and they look completely different, but I don't think there's a measure of which is harder because with male, so I only have daughters, but I've raised my siblings. Just to give a little backstory. I'm the oldest of all my siblings, and I've raised my sisters, my brother, and my household rule. Just to go back to the when you're 18, you're gonna leave. My household rule with my siblings, with my children is you do not have to leave my home until you are equipped and prepared to do so. But trust and know, once you leave the house, you're not coming back. I will help you. I will buy groceries. We will figure it out together. I will help you figure it out, but you're not coming back home. You're not. Don't leave until you're ready. You can stay here as
Yeah.
long as you need to, provided, of course, you're respectful and you're abiding by household rules and you're being considerate of everyone in the house because now you're an adult. But as an adult, you do not have to leave this household until you are equipped to do so. But once you're froggy and you jump, you're not coming back. You're not. And again, that's those are the rules in my home. Um,
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
and because I've raised my brother and then I have girls, there's with my brother there's the fear of what he's going to encounter as a man when the world is looking at him um quite frankly with a bullseye is what happened more often than not. And with my girls and with my sisters and myself, it's you step out there and it's like everyone around you is a predator and you need to walk this world um, with a sure foot, but quite frankly, looking over your shoulder. Like that's just that has been my reality, and the reality in the space that I've grown up in. You walk the world, and it's like everyone is looking to see just how much they can extract from you, what they
Hmm.
can get over, what can they get from you, what are you going to do for them. And for many years, I've always worked in male dominant industries. I was a project manager, I was a GM, I was the only woman on a construction site with my pink hard hat and pumps while everyone's walking around in like construction boots and stuff like that. So I very much have felt that emphasized. So I don't think it's a matter of which is harder. It's just I think it's different challenges depending on the gender.
Okay. Don, what's your thoughts, man?
I think it's to piggyback off what Mel said, it's in the preparation because when my kids were younger, I made sure that they understand the importance of self-sufficiency and independence, getting out and getting a job to when they're able or ready to leave the house, that they have a path forward. Because I'm always going to be there to support them. Even my youngest daughter, I just had to co-sign a car for her. So the support system was established a long time ago. It's just a matter of making sure that they're gonna fall, they're gonna have some bumps and bruises, but the mindset that they were given is they can make it. They can be
Mm-hmm.
sufficient, and then as they get older, they may find a young man to settle down with and have a beautiful life. But until that point, don't depend on him. But yet you have to be worried because, again, just from my knowledge, there's suckers out there who would try to use a woman. I'm not standing for that.
That's
Right
true.
about
That's
that.
real talk. That's real talk. Big Mark.
Yes, sir. I agree with both Melly and Don. Like it's equally challenging because I've raised girls and I've raised boys, and it's just a different perspective. But it's equally as challenging because you got to prepare the females for what these young boys out here are going to try to to do because you're a man, so you know what these streets are about and how they can be predatory towards females. And as for the boys, it's look, everybody ain't gonna like you, man, and you got to know that everybody that smile in your face ain't really a friend.
That's
Mm-hmm.
real talk.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
That's
I mean,
real talk.
I had somebody who I thought was my best friend, and I got into a fight with somebody on the block, and I went in the house after the fight. 'Cause I'm like, you know what? I'm just upset. I'm gonna go in the house. He came and rang my bells at least 15 times to get me to come back outside, knowing this dude was outside with a baseball bat to go
Mm,
upside my dome piece. And
Mm.
this is somebody I consider my best friend at the time. And my mother said to me when she found out, she was like, "What did I always tell you? He ain't really your friend." And at that age, you don't understand because you're thinking, we grew up together. That's got to be my friend. Like, we lived in the same building. I stayed at his house. He stayed at my house. Like, how can he not be my friend? And it was a harsh wake up call. So,
I think that's
I
something
try to
that
tell my,
we teach them. We got to teach them that Mo 3 said everybody ain't your friend, everybody ain't your partner. That's
right.
how he
And I
started
mean,
that
I had
song
to
out.
learn that the hard way. And
Yeah.
I tell my sons that, like, look, I tell my grandson that, look, everybody ain't your friend. If they don't like you, that's their problem. It ain't yours. Tell them
Okay.
move on and you go on about to and keep doing what you do.
That's
If you
real
ain't
talk.
hurting them and they don't like you, excuse my language, ladies, but fuck them.
mm.
What's
Period.
your thoughts, Ray? What's your thoughts, Ray?
I don't know. I
So
don't.
Chevalier, we gotta raise Ray because he a baby.
Well, look, just because y'all both 102 years old, don't mean nothing. See, the world is different
103.
than when y'all was growing up. See, when y'all was growing up, y'all was in school. Y'all used to have to chisel your homework on stone. We got paper now. We got computers now.
All right, I ain't gonna let this go no further.
But
So I want to,
but
I
now
want to jump into. Go ahead, Ray.
I don't really know. I think is equal challenges with both because you have to prepare them for the world that they're going into, right? Because
Hmm.
they're going into the same world, but it's a different world altogether.
Yeah.
That's
You
gonna take
know,
me into our next question too. When Mel brought this topic up, she talked about specifically preparing your children to go back to school, to go out, in this world, in this current political climate, which has people charged up to do a lot of things they probably wouldn't normally do. And so what are some of the conversations? What are some of the things that you got? And I'm gonna start with you, Mel, since you brought the topic up. What are some of the things that you do to prepare your kids or to get them ready for the way people are in this current political climate with Trump and I mean it's in the schools. You got teachers that are instead of teaching,
Hmm.
they're talking more about politics
Pushing
than
their
just
own
talking about
propaganda.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how do you prepare your kids for that? I'll let you go first, Mel.
Before you answer, Mel, we're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back to this topic.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So
So my
restate that
answer,
question and come on with it. Restate it shorter, Chevalier.
All right, Raymond. So the question was, how do you prepare your kids to go off to school with this current political climate and all the things that are going on? You know what they're gonna have to deal with. So how are you preparing your kids to deal with that?
I have very, well, not just now, um, but I've always had very frank conversations on the world outside of our home, what it looks like from our perspective, what people see when they look at us, how people will interact with us, the things that they say. And one of the things that I have, um, if there's like the one golden rule or the one main focus I always come back to with my children is people work at the capacity that they're able to. So when someone's a shithead, that just might be their best. Their best may not be your best. And people are always going to come with whatever level. Someone's not going to do better if they're not capable of doing better. So that's something that I've always brought in. Now to bring back to like the point of the question is they're well aware of what other people's political views are and
Mhm.
what comes along with that. Right?
Right.
We all lived through when the world shut down with COVID, right? There were riots and there were protests because they were just out there singling us out and it was like open season. And that was under a certain presidency, right? And so here
Mhm.
we are on the threshold of that being a possibility of coming back again. So we're having in my household, we're having very honest conversations of what it may look like again. And to come back to where I was saying before, I'm from Long Island, so there's a whole lot more people that have flags on their front porch with his name on it than anything else. It's all around us. It's everywhere we are in my corner of the world. So they're well aware that what they believe and what they think may not be what everyone around them is thinking or not everyone is going to come to the table with an intelligent thought. They're just
Right.
not. So I don't know. That's what we're doing at our house. We just have very honest, candid conversations about it. In third
Don,
grade,
what's your thoughts, bro? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry,
if I
man.
could just
It was
say if I could just say one more
Yeah.
thing in
Yes.
to tag on to like this whole honesty conversation that I have or open honesty that I have with my children in third grade when like the kids are talking about like Columbus and stuff, my daughter was like, well, I'm not going to celebrate that because he's a racist and he raped people. And like, this is third grade. So to have that type of dialogue where my daughter stood on her principles and she was like, yeah, I don't want to color a picture about Columbus because he did bad things to other people. Like I don't know. Those are the humans that I'm proud to say are my family.
That's a good.
Good
That's
stuff.
the fact
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
stood on business
I
with
know
that.
that. Go ahead, Ray. Give us your thoughts since you talking.
Man, look, I don't know.
That's a good thought right there. That's a great answer.
I don't
Great
know.
answer.
I
Hey,
mean,
Don.
I
Yeah,
think you just have to you have to teach them where to look for things, right? Because as we know now, a lot of the stuff is not going to be able to be taught in school. A lot of our history will not be able to be taught in school. So you have to
Right.
teach them. You have to teach them
Um,
uh, our history. You have to teach them how to find history, how to research, where to go to
yeah,
research, and to do their research, and to not just take people's word for it. To
there you
not
go.
take the social media sound bites and,
Right.
and use that as what you start to think and believe. You have to do the research yourself. You have to read for yourself. You have to read for yourself. You know, you can't because one of your friends says this about about a senator doesn't mean it's true. If somebody says this, doesn't mean- you have to
You
do that
going in
research
and out, Ray.
yourself.
Yeah, you start getting a little muffled, bro.
I don't care.
No, you back now.
You have to do the research for yourself.
Okay.
Don't allow what other people say and social media sound bites to be um your only
So, source
point
of
of
information.
entrance.
Yeah,
Yeah, source of information to anything that's going on. Because we all know if it's on the internet, it must be true, right?
mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you have to learn for yourself. You have to read. You have to understand these things for yourself. Because if you don't, you're just taking up space at that point
Right. You
Yeah,
going if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
for anything.
mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we have to
Yeah.
teach them. I'm gonna say it again. Every time we get on this sort of subject, we ain't all the way there, but I'm gonna say it again. We have to teach them our power
there you go.
because we have to know our power.
Right.
And if we can teach our kids the power that they have, they can change the world.
Absolutely.
That's true. That's true, bro.
Because in closing, I believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way.
Okay, Whitney.
I was gonna
We'll
keep going till somebody stopped me.
start singing,
I was
but
gonna let you go. I was about to
yeah,
behind you.
Come on,
jump
Don.
Show
What
them
you
all the
Elise,
got?
beauty
what's
they
your
possess
thoughts?
inside.
No,
I feel
I
like you
know
have to
Elise.
be the role model you want them to follow. You have to be the representative instead of. I agree with what Ray is saying. I would just add to that. Instead of telling them to go research, be the person who shows them how to research it.
Yes.
Therefore, they understand what it takes to actually get to the information. Because you got to go through those different layers. They're gonna learn through the process and then understand as they get older and wiser. Okay, I can disseminate this because this is bullshit, but my dad always told me to stand on this principle or always seek advice when something seems confusing and just not follow the crowd. That's what I've always shared with them.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's good. That's a good word, Mark. Where you at?
Um, First of all, you gotta teach them respect yourself,
Yeah,
respect and love yourself. Because if you don't respect and love yourself, nobody else in this world will.
Amen.
yeah,
And that's where it starts at. Like you gotta know and understand. Sometimes you gotta see what's not being shown and hear what's not being said.
that part. Yeah,
Pay attention to what's
Oh
because
yeah.
a lot of this shit is the distraction,
yeah, yeah,
and they will hide the truth right in front of your face. And the old adage is, you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book. Like you
That's
said,
true.
Ray, read, research,
find the history, find the real, search for the truth. The truth is always, a lie can be covered up, but the truth will always come to the surface.
Right.
And you got to
That's
be able to
true.
determine what the truth is. The truth will never hide itself.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Elise, what's your thoughts? Can you hear us?
She can
Yeah, I
hear
can
us
hear y'all.
driving.
Yeah. Right. You hear me? I'm driving. I'm packing in. I'm pulling into my hotel. So I think one very excellent points. I think a lot of times that I think everyone's spoken about how it's important to want to allow your children to have their own opinions, but also help to guide that, and that's kind of where my school of thought is. So, with my daughter, I've always taken her with me to vote, but I've also always well, after she got older, it was too lame, but I always explained to her that it was important for her to exercise her right to vote and to vote on the principles. No, I didn't vote for Trump. However, um, I'll tell you that I had to explain to her my decisions on who I voted for and why I voted for certain things. I also have to tell her the importance of local elections because those local elections are really what creates the framework of a lot of the policies, a lot of the legislation that happens. And then lastly, I don't know who was talking because I wasn't looking, but talking about reading. I don't we don't like to read, and I can't act like I like to read. I like to snuggle up to a book myself, but I realize the importance of reading and education. So what I've taught my daughter is that you have to take time to do your own research. Don't let your friend tell you, don't let your teacher tell you. You do your own research so you can make a fair and honest decision on whatever it is that you're doing in life. And the same applies to when you're voting for your political affiliation. I think that back in the day, who you voted for, your political affiliation used to be really sacred to that individual because it was a personal decision. It
You
wasn't
didn't
like I'm gonna
talk
tell
about it.
you,
Yep.
yeah, it's like you don't talk about how much you made. We don't do that. So now again, we go back to social media and the internet giving us so much access and so much availability to say and do what we want to do. Um, it has taken some of that away. So going back to the basic fundamentals, understand what the election can determine for your future as an individual, your community. Sorry, my daughter calling me. My bad. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay.
We got you.
We
Not
got you.
no more.
Your phone
Okay.
started
Now
Okay.
you
ringing.
back.
Sorry, my
There
daughter
you go.
calling me. She gonna call me back to back. So realizing the importance of how you advocate for yourself, but just making a decision based on what moves you and what's important to you, and being able to stand on it. Like Mel let her daughter say, I ain't celebrating him because he made me feel away, and that's completely 100% accurate and fair. But we have to give our children those choices and show them those avenues so that as they get older, they make those decisions politically, personally, and professionally.
Uh, and I kind of ditto to everything that you all said. I think for me, with my boys, and even with my daughter, I find myself like Ray said, you kind of got to get on their level with things. And a lot of times, Ray, what you said about social media, you know, it's a blessing and a curse, And so what I try to do is I try to be aware of what they're tuned into. I like to sit down. I try to get them when they're all here. We try to have at least one night where we sit around the table and I just ask them questions about, hey, what do you feel about this? What are you and your friends talking about as it relates to? Because right now we talk about them being prepared in the world of politics. What are y'all talking about? You guys all go to school. It's kind of a multicultural thing. What are people saying around you, and how are you feeling when that happens? I try to get them to tell me, to verbalize to me, what's going on so I can help them navigate through that. And I'm not necessarily trying to tell them what they should feel or what they should think or who they should vote for, But it's sort of like you guys said, like Mark said, you know, they'll put things out there to get you to pay attention to other things. And so I try to
Absolutely.
remind them that, hey, these things are going on. I know that like Amber Rose was on the Republican thing and at the RNC, the Republican convention, right? Hey man, I don't want to throw the frisbee. Go.
Her
Excuse me.
and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And Hulk Hogan. But you know, I don't think he resonates with
Bozos.
the younger folks these days. But you
All
know,
that
the
shit, all of this shit is
Propaganda.
all
it's
propaganda and
propaganda.
games.
Absolutely.
This shit is crazy.
Hmm.
Even and even at the Democratic when they had Megan Thee Stallion perform. Like why are we
Oh,
doing all of
why?
this shit?
I said the
Because
same thing. Now we couldn't do that.
Popularity.
but you know
To
what it is?
popularity.
You've got some people up there. Like I believe that the candidates do know who they want to reach out to, but they're relying on people that are looking at stats and numbers. Everything for the
Hmm.
Democrats right now, how do we get the black vote?
Hmm.
That's for but you know what? For the last 60 years, that's all they've talked about. There's a whole nother community of votes that they need to be concerned with, and that's the Hispanic culture
Yes,
and
Lord,
the
that Latino.
LGBTQ
Hmm.
XYZ culture. All of these cultures have come up, and I'm not critical of any, but when I talk to my kids, I say, you guys have to understand the power of all these cultures. You got to get to understand where they are, what their agendas are, how those agendas affect you, and then educate yourself. So, although they have things that come to them a lot easier, for us, it's like you could say, if we just read the book and did the research, we would get the answers. I think for them today, it's a little bit harder, and it's kind of incumbent upon us to help them navigate through that because they have so much bullshit coming at them daily. If they sit on Instagram
Hmm.
or TikTok for an hour, because most of them are on TikTok more than IG now, I think
Hmm.
they get
Hmm.
so much coming to them, man, that you have to kind of ask them what they feeling. You gotta get in their head and help them work through it. And I think for me, that's my way of preparing them as they step out. But one thing that I always say, I always remind my boys, my nephews. This weekend we did this. I sat down with one of my nephews that's raised up in Illinois, right? He's a mixed heritage, and so one of the challenges that he has where he lives, all of his friends are white, right? And so I had to remind him because he doesn't talk about Trump or politics much, but he talks about what his life is like. I had to remind him one thing you got to always remember. I know that, and I said it in these words. I know your mom is white because his dad was sitting there. I know your dad is black. But at the end of the day, when all the bullshit comes down, you're a
You
black
still
man.
black.
And I
Hmm.
Yeah.
said, and
Don't think
so
that
and
privilege
I
gonna
gave him an
extend.
example. I said, if you and your four white best friends, his dad was talking about his four white best friends. I said, if all of y'all are out and some real bullshit go down, when the smoke clears,
They
all
You're the
coming.
one
fingers
they're
are going to
looking
be
at.
pointed at you. You influenced
Man.
it, even though you're not the oldest one. I had to
Hmm.
have that. We have to have those types of real conversations. And me saying that to
Absolutely.
him,
I
I
told
could
my
I
daughter
could
that too.
see that it kind of gut punched him. It kind of gut punched him, but his dad's been saying it all along. He couldn't hear it, but when I said
Hmm.
it, I got a lot of feedback from it. And he ended with, "I know what you're saying." I said, "Just think about it. Every time something happens, if something bad happens, everybody's turning to you, but you're not the leader when they're going into this shit."
Hmm.
I said, "You got to think about your life as you, because he's getting ready to be a sophomore in college now. So as you travel back to college, you got to think and make decisions based on making sure that whatever you're doing, with whether they white, black, blue, or green, that you're gonna be okay at the end. Can't nobody look at you and point all the fingers at you." Those are the types of things that I'm preparing them. I felt like if I talk to them that way, then that's going to get them to thinking different. It's going to be more self-preservation than it
Yeah.
is we are the world. Because we are the world doesn't work anymore because look, the world ain't about us. The world is about everybody but us. So that's kind of my thoughts. Maybe that's a little militant, but that's just my thoughts on it.
The
What you got,
Nah, it's,
DJ?
accuracy.
it's reality. It's
Yep.
Yeah,
reality,
It
you.
is
Yeah.
reality.
It's reality, bro.
DJ just popped in. What's going on, Mount Olympus?
What's up,
What's
Mount
good,
What
Olympus?
up,
DJ?
DJ? How
Go,
y'all
Hey,
doing,
go,
Dad.
sir?
go.
What's
Come
going
on.
on?
What's your thoughts, man? I know you've been listening to some of this. What's your thoughts?
So what was the last question?
So I was asking, in this current political climate, how do you prepare your kids? Because we're talking about kids going off to school, stepping off into adulthood, stepping into more responsibility. How do you prepare your kids to function in that type of climate? You know, they've got to get their educations. How do you prepare them to function with everything that's going down in our current political climate?
So my daughter, she's about to start her senior year at in college, and so even before she actually started, I think I came up with the concept to her. I said, no matter what you think, yeah, your dad, your mom, grandparents, hey, we all got love for you, but the moment you take a step outside of this boundary, which is the house, all of that is off. I said, you gotta look at things with your head on a swivel. And I think for the most part, it's really unfortunate for women to have to go through that. Um, and I think we talked about that several times as far as, hey, people that you talk to in school, people that you might meet out in the street, you do not know these people's intentions or their characteristics. They could have some false intentions on you. And a lot of people out here, unfortunately, and I don't care what gender you want to specify, some people are predators, and they will just continue to be so. Um, and that's just their dynamic. But like I try to tell her, and I think Elle actually even spoke on it. It's like, look, um, you're going to graduate college with honors without any student loans.
Mm.
And I said, I need you to understand that's not because you had a job, you was paying for all of this shit. That was because of me. And everything else that I sacrificed as you guys were growing up. No different than my son. But it's like, hey, you have to teach them hard accountability and responsibility early
Go.
so that you give them the tools to make those right choices and right decisions. Like I think I heard earlier, hey, I'm not necessarily putting you out, but here are your tools or whatnot. And when you're ready, when you jump ship, but see, the thing is, I need you to show me that you can fly somewhat.
Yeah.
I need to see how stable you are once you're thinking about flying out the nest. So that way, I know what kind of buffer I need to provide for you.
Mm-hmm.
Saying I'm not going to show you that buffer.
Right.
Just understand it's going to be there, but I'm not going to tell you to what degree.
Right.
And so
Right.
she and I've had dialogue back and forth, concerning, financial education, literacy, hey, how do I do X, Y, and Z? And I told her, I said, the thing for me is, I said, baby girl, you've always been a bird to me. I said, you don't have to prove it to me. You're gonna have to prove it to yourself and your mother. I said, because that's a dynamic that she's gonna have to understand as far as, hey, I think Elle brought it up. Hey, I'm not paying for you to get your hair done. You know, I'm not
Yeah.
about to pay your cell phone bill. You know,
Yeah.
you got a part-time gig as a dance instructor. You got this other job that you just came from out in Indiana. So put your money aside. I said, you don't have to go out all the time with your friends to party and everything else. I do want you to have a good time, and I do want you to enjoy those experiences. But you also need to understand how far your money's going to take you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got to be responsible about that, because at any
Absolutely.
given any given day, your mom, myself, your grandparent, we might not be here for you to fall back on. So you got to be able to sustain yourself. And again, it's not necessarily a rush. I think like when through our age group growing up, um, but at the same time, it's like, hey, the the world was a little different. We didn't have a lot of tools. I think sometimes in in today's society, they got too many tools that they can't particularly navigate those windows properly. They have so much information coming in, so they kind of sometimes I think go too much with the flow, and I think it's our point that like, hey, that's fake news. Hey, you'll get yourself hurt trying this right here, and if you don't believe me, I'll let you go ahead and try it, so you can fall on your sword, and then you be like, yeah, that was fucked up, and I was like, yeah, I told you not to do it, but here's where we are.
Exactly. I think,
Yeah, I
but
get it, man.
so I watched my dad teach a a guy teach a young man um to listen. So the way that he taught him to listen, we were camping and the fire was going and it got down to the white embers, right? One of the logs had white embers on it, and he's standing there saying, "Man, the fire's gone out." He said, "It ain't going out. I just got to put a little oxygen to it." And he said, "No, man, it's going out." He's telling my dad, "It's going out." And my dad says, "No, it ain't." He goes, "Yeah, that one right there ain't even hot no more." He say, "No,
Put
the white means it's hot.
Yeah.
You don't touch that." He
put your
goes,
hand.
"No, man, that one ain't hot." He say, "I'm telling you it's hot. Man, I'm telling you that one ain't hot." Then pick it up and give it to me.
Shit, you
The
learn
next thing
fast.
I heard was he
Man,
say,
if your daddy had done this
and
day and
my
age,
daddy
man,
told
he'd
him,
be in the penitentiary for
he
3
say,
years for
so next time
Child
he
and
be trying
Daisy.
to he be trying to
when an
trying to
adult
he
Yeah.
be y'all be
tells
sending
you,
him letters, y'all be putting money on
It's
his
the
book.
same way everybody learned how to oven
but
hot.
that's
Yeah.
what
Hmm
I was saying about sometimes you have to let them get into the situation
Yeah, you do.
because
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
absolutely.
I mean, he said next time you'll listen. You're like, I've been through that. I had the same conversation with my dad, and I'm telling you it's hot. You're not listening. And he said, you're going to get into situations where people are going to tell you how to navigate those situations. You're not going to listen and you're going to get burned.
Mm.
And that's the thing. We got to let them, jump off the roof to see that they can't jump off the roof. You know, you gotta let them live and get into situations so that you can tell them how to navigate the next time they come
Yeah,
around a
Right.
situation so that
Yeah.
they can know, okay, I see the white log, I'm not touching it because that one's hot.
No, look, I see a log on fire. Period. I'm not gonna touch it.
You know,
Not gonna
yeah,
touch it.
you
hmm
know what I'm saying? He might be terrified of
In
the color
5
white,
years.
but whatever the
Uh-uh.
case is, it is what it is. But you have to allow them to
Yeah,
live.
that's a
And
part of
as
growth.
it's been said multiple times tonight, you can't live the life for them.
Nope.
Right.
not at all.
And you know what? I think that's a lot
hmm
of mistakes that parents make.
hmm
Yeah. We
In
spend a
fact,
lot
Yeah.
of time
they,
trying to protect them. I said it
Yes.
earlier. You want to protect them and you find yourself coddling them and you setting them up for
Or
failure
tell
because
them what to
soon
do.
as some,
Or tell them what to
you
be.
just
Yeah.
oh
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then the kid resents you.
right, exactly,
That's a
exactly.
fact.
Yeah,
So
man.
look, we at 9:22 and it's almost time for the toast. But before we do that, Mel, you brought us this topic and I think it's a great topic. So I kind of want to finish the topic out, letting you summarize your thoughts on it if you want. You take a minute or so and just kind of tell us, your in thoughts on the topic if you like.
Oh Lord, I wasn't prepared for all that now.
You got it.
What was an argument?
Closing arguments.
I guess to kind of summarize a little bit of a little bit of what everyone has said is we want to be as honest and transparent with our children as possible, preparing them for what's coming by being honest and letting them know what the world has in store for them, and still offering our love and support. Um, Again, for anyone that's just kind of jumping in now, my daughter's going away for college next week. And one of the things I think that best demonstrates that is I told her, you're going to go out, you're going to experience new things. You've lived at home. You've been here with me giving you permission to do things and not do things your whole life. It's about your decision making now. So now when you go out, if you go to a party or you go out with friends or you do something, and you find yourself in a situation that you can't handle, you can call me. You're going to hear my mouth, but you'll hear my mouth tomorrow. Tonight,
Right.
I'm going to come get you.
Right.
Tonight, I'm
Right.
going to come get you. Don't ever be afraid to contact me. Like, you're going to hear me, trust and know. But in this moment, the important thing is to make sure that, you know, you feel the protection, you feel safe,
Right.
while still being able to exercise that the decisions, right? Because if they don't make stupid decisions, they're not going to learn. They're not going to
Yeah.
realize it was a bad decision unless they make that bad decision.
Yeah.
So I don't
Exactly.
know. That's my last 2 cents on it all.
Right on.
And
Right on. We appreciate
it's a
it.
great last 2 cents, and we appreciate
Yes, it
you
is.
joining us.
We do.
Well,
Thank you.
you know what time it is. Ashes and glasses. What the hell did you do? Anyway, this is Ashes and Glasses. This is where we like to end the show. Everybody on screen got to
You
give
muffled, Ray.
Hey man,
what?
shake your cord to your mic, bro.
You want me to sound like you, Mike? Mark? You want me to talk like this? You want me to get all up in the
Look,
microphone, Mark? 'Cause that's
Mark,
what you
why it
want.
look like you about to fall into the screen?
Yeah, yo,
Watch out,
DJ,
bro.
you gonna come around and join me too?
Y'all just out of pocket, out of
Look, I'm
pocket.
just
DJ,
hey, you like
DJ,
right there. You like
DJ.
right there.
Mark,
Like
we can see your thoughts.
the focus is extreme, my friend.
We can see your thoughts, Mark. We can see
The
Real
what you're
focus
talk.
is
thinking of
extreme.
before
Like
you
look,
say it.
and look, if you get the Jesus
Y'all
piece
crazy.
light from off your head, you can probably see everything.
Y'all
Just
Hey,
say
crazy.
yo,
you look, you got a natural halo above you, bro.
that's
That's all
because
I'm
he
saying.
finally. Hey, we are thankful that he finally got some light in that garage.
Yeah, because he
Because
didn't have any light for a minute.
he used to
Look,
come
He'd
on
be
here
over
looking
there with
like
a
this.
candle.
look,
He'd have a
that's
candle.
look,
This is
that's
what he used to
fine
look like.
during the daytime, but at nighttime, look at you can see it. You can barely see him right now.
Y'all
It's
crazy.
That's
saying
that 100-watt light bulb.
look,
That's that 100-watt garage light bulb going on back behind his back there, blotting
he
out
got,
the
look,
Man, y'all,
He
he
gonna
got
Jesus
take the
about
y'all
hat
let
eight
that
off.
thousand.
man be
He got about
great.
eight
It
thousand
didn't make
lumens
it
in
no
that
better
goddamn
taking the hat
LED
off.
light.
It didn't make it no
Shut the
better.
hell up, Ray. I ain't talking to you.
Man,
Anyway,
y'all going
this is
in.
Ashes and Glasses. This is the way we like to end the show.
This is a
Everybody
norm for
on the
Ray,
screen.
DJ, and Chevalier. They do this all the time. I'm used to this.
Everybody on the screen got to give a toast. The toast ain't got to be serious. Toast can be funny. Toast can be whatever you want the toast to be. How you can toast with your drink, you can toast with your cigar, you can toast with water, uh, whatever you got, you can toast with.
Right.
So we're gonna start with Don, Mr. Junior Lilly, the poet himself. All right, I
the
might want you to
man.
go last. I might want you to go last.
All right.
I
Yeah,
might
because he
want you
All
could
to
right.
come
go
back
last.
with some real prophetic type
Yeah,
shit, you know.
we're gonna let Elin go first. Elin the
Elise, the Leo,
Elise.
the dancing Leo whose birthday is
Right,
Saturday,
Elian the
y'all.
Leo. Elise
Stay
Leon
tuned
Leo.
for the birthday
You gotta
tribute
put your
this
hand up.
year.
You gotta put your hand up. If you ain't got no drink, you gotta put your hand up.
Man, I ain't
Gotta
doing
put your
shit on
hand
my
up.
birthday, bruh. All right.
Oh, damn.
I got some wine. I got some wine. I made it back to my
That'll work.
room in
That'll
time.
work. That'll
So
work.
I want to cheers to community and uh-huh. Oh, cheers to community and having a safe space to talk about real shit. And also fuck all the people who ain't shit out here in these streets and that done showed you. Cause believe them. Salute.
Salute.
Cheers
Salute.
on that.
Hello.
That's just
Yeah.
real talk right there.
Go next, man.
She like,
Why
what?
you looking at us? You got to give a toast.
Who, me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. All right, wait, here we
I
go.
not- She's like, I gave her dissertation already.
Right? So, cheers to our babies who are our babies today and are going to be adults tomorrow, and to our village. So, cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Darkness, you next.
Okay. Cheers to DJ, Ray, and you for all they bullshit that they give me every fucking week. But I love them nonetheless. They're my brothers. And cheers to the children. Because as Ray said earlier, Ray Whitney Houston, the children are the future.
Witty Hut.
Cheers.
Cheers. Mark Houston.
Next up,
DJ, come on.
DJ.
Hey, look, mine is simple. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, let's bless Mark for having them 8,000 lumens in the background.
Crazy.
yo, it ain't never enough for you three. It ain't never enough for you three. Okay.
All right. Come on, Don. You next.
All right. Success is earned and not given. If you're not striving for success, then you're not living.
Woo.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Ray,
I like
I got to
that
put
one.
that one up with Mac the Cigar Advocate, who is our
Right?
number one toaster. We got to put that one up there with that one.
Giving Mac a run for his money. Come on, Chevalier. You next.
All right, so this toast, first of all, goes out to my son who started college yesterday. A toast to him. I want to toast to each one of you for joining us, especially you, Mel, for coming with this great topic. Elise, you've been rocking with me and Ray from day one. We all met in Austin. Been rocking ever since then. We thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you. You know you have an open invitation anytime you want to join us or anything you want to do. So that being said, Mount Olympus, man, thank you for your words of encouragement and all the things that you do for us. And for everybody that joins us on the lounge, we appreciate you. Don, thank you for joining us. Mark, of course, you too,
Sure.
man. I got LED lights in my eBay thing for you. I'm gonna pay for them today and get them over to you soon.
Not eBay. Right.
Yeah.
eBay. I'm ordering his shit on eBay. I'm not getting his shit on Amazon. He getting eBay. And here's to all of y'all for joining
eBay.
us. Cheers to
Damn.
you
You
guys.
get it next year.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, I go back to eBay for him. His light structure over there, his setup can't handle these new LEDs that they got. I gotta
Yeah,
get
that's too much.
some
That's too much
eBay
power.
shit.
That's too much power.
Uh,
Oh
I
my
got
God.
a
Y'all
bid on
wow.
his lights. I'm a bid on his lights.
Not bid on it.
I'm a bid on his lights. Dude.
You got to hold a bid. You got to
My
win it.
toast, my
Whatever.
toast goes to all of y'all who support us on the lounge.
Yes, indeed.
All of y'all who support us in our individual ventures, and Mark's Light for supporting him because he used to be in the cave, and now we can
Oh
see
my
him a little
God.
bit.
Now
Cheers.
we can see his silhouette. Cheers. Cheers to the silhouette.
Cheers.
Man, that
We
was a
love you,
great show,
Mark.
man. Come
Hey,
on, close us out, Chevalier.
Hey, man, hey, don't do that bullshit. Hey, thank you for joining us.